Marathon might just be bigger than what everyone previously thought it could be. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the game Marathon, this is a game developed by Bungie, and it's their attempt at trying to make an extraction shooter. But they did add a few different twists to it to try to make it stand out. And in the attempts to try to make it stand out, there are still naysayers out there and people that have a lot of hate towards the game. Now, me personally, I'm excited about it. I've been spewing that same thing over and over in all my videos, man. I've been trying to get people excited about it. I've even tried to help people who are kind of like me out there who have probably never played an extraction shooter, or they didn't know what was really going on with them, and tried to get them on the same page as me, which is we just excited about a new game that looks fresh and fun. And before we get into why I think it'll be a success, I want to talk about why it could also possibly be a failure first. One of the reasons is a silly one to me, but it's still a point of interest that people have, which is the game looks in their eyes unfinished, and it just looks very, from what people have said, Robloxy. It looks like it's like a cartoonish, childish game in a lot of people's eyes, and they don't like a lot of the gameplay in it. And when I'm talking about the gameplay, I'm more so talking like the PvP aspect. Some people aren't really excited about that, and they feel like the PvE part of the game is very lackluster. Now, again, I don't feel that same way, but you guys should also understand, like, that is some people's gripe with the game. Another thing that people are still kind of just holding on to is that the game didn't perform very well on their alpha about 8 to 9 months ago, where people got their first look at it and they just thought that Bungie put out another game out there that didn't really look all that great. It didn't perform that well in their eyes, and they thought it was a lot of things that were lacking and left desired in that gameplay. So people kind of wrote it off. But this is where a game took a turn for the best, y'all. Bungie heard everything. They listened to everybody's negative comments, they listened to everybody's gripes, they heard all of the naysayers, and they thought, we can get back in the lab and we can make this game better. We can make the environment so much better. We can make the gunplay better. We can make the PvP aspect as well as the PvE aspect 10 times better. And honestly, they have made leaps and bounds in the right direction. Now, based on everything that I've seen and all the games that I have played over the years, it looks like Marathon is going to give people the snappiness that they like. For people like me out there who are enjoyers of Apex Legends, you're going to get a little bit of that feel in it. The PvP aspect is going to feel intense. It's going to feel like at any moment you could lose, at any moment you can get thirded. The guns are strong. You get attachments and you make them better. The TTK in this game is really good from everything that I've seen. The only one where it seems like the TTK isn't the highest is depending on certain bots that you would go up against. You know what I mean? Certain ones seem like they might be a little bit stronger, or maybe just the guns ain't all the way kitted out because you didn't get the right attachments just yet. The movement in this game looks really fluent. Even though it's not super crazy focused on that, you can still see that they put that attention into the movement in the game. The quality of the sound in the game, and I'm not talking the music, I'm talking like from footsteps, being able to tell if somebody's above you, below you, if they're in the water, if they're on a certain type of surface that gives away their exact location, and even some of the uniqueness with the characters. Now, I'm not saying they're the most original design characters, obviously, but these characters are interesting nonetheless, and they offer something exciting to an extraction shooter. Now, earlier I said people didn't like the art style, they didn't like the way the game looked, but me, I enjoy it. I like the kind of shape that the weapons have in this game. I like the look of it, the colors, it all grabs me. I love the way the maps look. Oh my gosh, chef's kiss to that. And the gameplay, again, y'all, it just looks snappy, it looks smooth, it looks fluid, it looks fun, and on top of that, it looks like it can get intense when it's time to get intense in this game, which for me is something that I love. Now, is this game gonna be for everybody? I don't think so. And I don't think Bungie expects this game to be for everybody. Who I think this game is going to have the most appeal to is the competitive fan base of gamers out there, you know, the ones who like that high intense, high moment, player versus player kind of moments where Marathon is going to give them that in an extraction shooter. Not that the others don't, it just feels like that was kind of a little bit more of their focus. But at the same time, they have added things to try to make it feel a little bit more like some of the other extraction shooters. Like, they didn't start off with having proximity chat, and now they added it. And they have ways for it to feel a little bit more friendly for the solo dolo players out there, and just give players a better experience, especially even with the PvE, because people did say it did not look like it was going to provide any good or entertaining PvE. I also think Bungie did a really good job by actually taking the criticism and the feedback from the communities of content creators and just your regular viewers who are just a part of watching your game and wanted to see what you had to offer. Instead of just throwing that at people and saying like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about, these people are dumb, they're this, they're that, Bungie took all of that criticism and said, we definitely need to do better. So for me, I'm very, very grateful that Bungie actually listened to everybody and they're making a lot of the appropriate changes that people want in a game. And I've never, ever been this excited for a video game in my life. And I can honestly say Marathon, even with it being an extraction shooter, and that's not really my genre, Marathon makes me feel like this is gonna be a game that I damn near know life, y'all. Like, I have never been more excited. I cannot stress that enough. I think about this game on a daily, and I truly can't wait to get my hands on it. I think that Marathon has a lot of the tools and the things it needs to be one of the biggest games out there because of its uniqueness, its different style, the fast-paced gameplay that people enjoy, but also at the same time giving people what they've enjoyed from games like Arc Raiders, which is just having that proximity chat. They have a solo mode in here, which a lot of people enjoy solo mode games. And I've even heard word of them giving out a ranked game mode in here. How they gonna do that? I don't know, but it is a thing that supposedly is going to be in the game. So I think with all those features and them continuing to add more and more features in the game, some of the stuff that I talked about in my other videos, I think that this game has a lot of potential to be the next biggest game out there with all the things that they already offer and the things in the future to come. But that's gonna do it for me, man. I'd like to know what some of you guys' thoughts are. I know, again, that this game isn't for everybody, but I think it's going to grab in a lot more people than what a lot of other folks are expecting. I think once people finally see it and get their hands on it and get to play it for themselves and see how exciting it is to get into some of these raids and go up against other people and even go up and against the bots, I think it's gonna draw on a lot of people. But that's just my take. Y'all let me know what you think. I'm out of here, man, and I look forward to catching you on the next one. Peace and hair grease.